Hello and welcome to this special lockdown edition of Beer Reactions. I'm Jono and this is the second in my series of Jono Does Cider. Now, if you saw the previous episode, you'll see that my friend Angela Lloyd, who's based in Herefordshire and has a very interesting Facebook page called Orchards of the World, said she's going to be challenging me to try and review some various ciders from Herefordshire. Now, the last one that I did, Colcombe House Cider, they're based in Herefordshire. That was the previous episode, and this is the second bottle that Angela has very kindly sent me to review. Now this is Henney's Vintage Still Cider 2018. Now, I don't know what a still cider is. I've never had a still cider. But I'm assuming that a still cider is like a still wine. I mean, you can get sparkling wine and you can get still wine. So I'm assuming that it's basically a cider made like a still wine, so it's not conditioned, there's no CO2 in it. Henney's, they're based in Bishops Frome in Herefordshire, and they say that this particular cider is made from a single year's harvest and naturally still. Only coarsely filtered to retain as much flavour as possible. Henney's website says that this particular cider is made with an apple called Tremlett's Bitter. Again, I don't know one cider apple from another, so this is why it's a bit of a challenge for me to do these cider reviews. I'm just going to read a bit of the blurb on the back like I did last time. At Henney's, we believe that the best way to make cider is to start with high quality ingredients and keep the process as simple as possible. This has helped us to win many prestigious awards in recent years. Each autumn, carefully selected locally grown varieties of genuine cider apples are milled, pressed and fermented. The resulting cider is then blended and stored through the winter, allowing it to mature and develop a rich and mellow flavour. This vintage cider is made from a single year's harvest. It is naturally still and has been only coarsely filtered in order to retain as much flavour as possible. Sip or quaff, we don't mind, as long as you enjoy it. Cheers! So, that's a bit about the cider. There's nothing about the tasting notes on there, or the aroma or anything like that. Again, since it's still, I'm assuming there's going to be no effervescence whatsoever when we pour it. So I think the best thing to do with it is to just, let's get pouring. Okay, I'm not expecting to hear a hiss when I take the crown cap off this bottle because it's a still cider, but it'll be interesting to see if there's any slight effervescence whatsoever. No, there's nothing. There's no bubbles. If you have a look at that, you can see there's no carbonation in the bottle whatsoever. So here we go. Now there's a very, very strong smell of apples here. A little bit of sediment at the bottom, which I'm going to try and keep in there. So I'll hold that out. As you can see, there's no carbonation there whatsoever, but you can see a little bits of sediment in there. Wow, that has got a proper apple punch about it. It really comes through. It's almost got the same sort of smell to it, to an organic cloudy apple cider vinegar to it. It doesn't, maybe that's wrong, it doesn't have that acetic acid smell to it like you get with a vinegar. But it's very strong bitter apples. It reminds you of sort of autumn harvest days. You know, you can just see the ripe apples on the tree with this. Right, let's have a taste, shall we? Actually, I'm not sure I'm imagining that, but I think there's a very, very slight tingle there, very slight effervescence on the tongue. I could be imagining it could just be the sharpness, but I think there is a very slight effervescence there with this cider. I know it's a ridiculous thing to say about a cider, considering they're made of apples, but it is really appley, but it's got a very slight bitterness to it. There's something else there, I'm not sure what that could be. There's definitely something else there. I can't put my finger on it. It's almost like it's peaches, or I don't know, apricots or something like that, but that sort of aftertaste that comes, there's like a bitterness at the end of it. It starts sweet, goes bitter, and there's almost like you get the sort of reminded of it's like some sort of apple pudding or something like that, whether it's apple strudel or apple pie or apple crumble or something. It's like that sort of sweet bursting fruit flavour that you get with an apple pudding, but it's really pleasant, and it's unusual that it is still, because normally when you get a cider they're sort of very refreshing because of that effervescence that they've got, but it's more like you're drinking a sort of fine wine, really sort of rich, mellow, amber coloured wine. I mean, it really is unusual, and I don't like that. I've never had a still cider before. This is the first I've had that's a still cider, and it's an unusual. I feel like I should be drinking wine. Now, this particular cider is 6.5, sorry, volume alcohol, so it's quite strong. It's got quite a kick. Yeah, that is really good. So I could see this being a great drink to have with a meal. It is like a white wine. So I could see it being a good accompaniment to that. It would also make a good pudding wine, to be honest, as well. So I'm really impressed with that, Angela. Thank you for sending that. Paul, if you're watching, once again, I think you would really like this. If I were to score this, again, without anything to compare it to, and I've never had one before, it's difficult to rank it without having tasted others, but my initial impressions of this are that it's a very nice cider. I feel like I'm drinking a wine with it. Scores then. What do you think? I think I prefer ciders to be effervescent, I'll be honest. Maybe because that's, again, as I said last time, I prefer beer. This channel normally is a beer review channel, and both myself and Paul are beer brewers, so I think there's something about that effervescence that we find quite refreshing. That don't mean to say that I don't like wine and things like that, but to me, I prefer ciders to be sparkling. So for that reason alone, it's a very good cider. I think I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. So once again, thank you for sending that in, Angela. It's a lovely cider, and if you still feel like sending me some others, then please do. I'm a willing participant. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to the Beer Reactions YouTube channel. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Beer Reactions, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. Cheers!